Everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 6th. It is 3:01 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Rules Administration and Procedures Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chairperson Ron Mormon.
Here.
Vice Chair Emmanuel Yamas.
Here.
Alderman Edward Bug.
Here.
Alderman Carl Franco.
Here.
Alderwoman Patty Smith.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. First item is 24-0041, approval of the minutes from the Rules Administration Procedures Committee meeting held on January 16, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Madam Clerk, is anybody here for public comment?
No, there is not.
First item on the agenda is 24-0042, a resolution approving the reappointments of Charlie Zine and Doug Johnson and the appointments of Dave Horner and Thad Morello to the Bicycle, Pedestrian, and Transit Advisory Board.
Good afternoon, Sylvia with the Mayor's Office. Charlie Zine and Doug Johnson are both reappointments. With this appointment, they would be starting their fourth term. Charlie Zine is a Ward 4 resident, and Doug Johnson is a 3rd Ward resident. The new appointees for this board would be Dave Horner. He is a Ward 5 member, and Thad Murillo is a Ward 9 member, and this would be both their first term, if appointed.
Any question, comments from the committee?
Quick question. Are there any wards not represented on that board?
Yes.
If you have it, fine. If you don't, I can ask offline.
So there are wards that are not represented because this is a smaller board. It's actually only 7 members.
Okay.
So we won't be able to, but if you have specific questions, of course,
No,
we're
that's
happy to
okay.
answer them.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the committee?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Yamas, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0043, a resolution approving the reappointment of Charles Baker and Awayo Duhansi to the Innovation and Technology Advisory Commission.
So moved.
Second. Any questions, comments from the committee?
No, other than I'm still taking credit for Charles Baker, even though he's now in your ward. He was in my ward.
Duly noted. It was a motion by Alderman Smith.
Yes, that's what it is.
Second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0047, a resolution authorizing the 2024 ward neighborhood cleanups and shred events in all wards in the city of Aurora. So moved.
Second.
Rich Jacobs, Chief of Staff for the Office of Alderman. This is our yearly resolution with Groot and Company in order for us to be prepared for each alderman if they so choose to do a neighborhood cleanup or a shred event. I ask for your support.
You got it.
Any question, comments from the committee?
Yes,
Alderman Bug?
thank you. Do all of the 10 wards do a cleanup at this time for 2024?
No.
Or do they all do one in 2023?
No,
4
Okay.
doesn't. I know 4 doesn't.
Okay,
we encourage it, but no.
sure.
No.
No, that, just from the memo, yeah, I just wanted to ask that question, because sometimes residents will
They do
contact
call.
us or someone and say, we don't have one in my ward, can I come to yours? So I was seeing if all 10 were covered, I'd be like, you're.
We can keep everyone,
You're blowing smoke.
yeah, I know.
That's not true, but.
Some older people are deciding if and when. We'll give everyone as soon as we know it, because we do get those phone calls. And if it's, we'll work with each alder person who is hosting to get more information from you if you wanted to be magnanimous to a fellow Aurora citizen outside your ward.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman,
Sure.
just for everyone's information, if you didn't see it, the chairman of the Sustainable, is it Sustainable Aurora Commission? Is that the proper?
Yeah.
Yes. She has sent us all an email asking for our dates, as she's sending down a newsletter and would like to add our cleanup dates in her newsletter.
I will not be doing that, and I will tell you why. When you start putting it on social media, you're gonna get North Aurora, Batavia, I'll get Ward 3, I'll get Ward 7. I don't want that.
No,
I just kind of, and then I do my ward in half, so I don't, I'm trying to keep it manageable, so that's why I don't put it on social media, we just send out the cards.
I put it on. I give it to her.
So you do half 1 year, half the next?
Yes.
Okay.
And Whitey started that, and it seems to work out pretty good. If you accumulate stuff, you shouldn't really accumulate that much stuff in 12 months, but maybe 24 months to kind of clean out your garage type of thing, so. And even then, it costs about $7,000 for half the ward, so I try to split it up a little bit.
Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0051, a resolution approving the appointment of Jennifer Paprocki, Denise Morgan, representing Aurora to the Aurora Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Board.
Hi, Sylvia with the Mayor's Office. Jennifer Paprocki it's her first appointment first time appointing to the Aurora Area Convention Visitors Bureau. She is the Executive Director of the Fox Valley Park District. Denise is a Ward 8 member, and this is her first time as well being appointed. With these two appointments, there will be 4 remaining vacancies on this board.
Any questions, comments from the committee?
On this one, do we know what wards are not represented?
I can
on
bring it
this
up. Hold
one?
on. So we currently have, since there's not that many people appointed, we have a Ward 5 member, 3 Ward 5 members that will be up for reelection or reappointment for July 1st of this year. I believe, we're looking for more people to be appointed. So if you guys have anybody that is willing to be on this board, we are looking for new members. So these would be, they're expired, but we are looking for new members. So we'll be reappointing as soon as we hear back from them.
So mainly any ward but 5 and 8.
Yeah, mainly Ward 5
Okay,
currently.
great.
So how many people are on this?
So there's a total of 11 members.
Okay.
Was that a total? 11.
Any other questions or comments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Yamas, second by Alderwoman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0057, a resolution approving the reappointment of Angie Thomas and the appointment of A. Elizabeth Robinson Chan to the Civil Service Commission.
So moved.
Second.
She thought she could get away. Any questions or comments?
After these two appointments, we'll have no vacancies on the Rural Civil Service Commission.
Nice.
Any other questions, comments? We're good?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Smith,
Second.
second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll take it.
Did I mess that up?
It's okay.
Oh, yeah, Alderman Yamas, sorry. That was been a long day. Item passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0060, a resolution establishing the Ward 9 Scholarship Program process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I brought this forward in the past last time so we could go through everything as the item was going through COW and council, and so we would be ready to hit the road today after that passed. So it is basically exactly the same as was presented 2 weeks ago. Except one minor change, just adding in some numbers there. And so everything is basically the same. Program for Ward 9 members. Vast majority of the funds come from various donations from our businesses, which have been fantastic in helping us out. We've been able to help a lot of students with scholarships in this manner. And, kind of the impetus of this and the genesis of this was students from not only my area, but some other areas weren't always able to meet the qualifications to apply for different scholarships throughout our city, although they were Aurora residents. So Of course, we have students in Aurora who attend Oswego East, who attend Batavia High School, who attend Canelan, and even way back when we started this, myself and Rick Mervine, Wabanzi Valley. And those students were cut out of a lot of scholarship opportunities because they were, on the border, on the fringe, whatever. They didn't meet a lot of the qualifications for some of the scholarships. So that's kind of where this was born out of.
Well, thank you.
All right, I have some questions.
I have a couple of questions as well, too. So I know you and I had a signed conversation about how this specifically benefits Ward 9. You and I am in that same boat, actually, so, and I agree with that. So, and I know we talked about doing a template for other folks to use. With calling this Ward 9 scholarship, like, should we change the name so other people can use this? And if so, should we have other people look at this before we push it through? I don't want to have this be Ward 9 specific, and then, somebody else wants to do a particular program and they got to use the Ward 9 template or something like that. I mean, is there an issue with that, or how does that work exactly?
So I'm a little, I don't want to say confused, but I know when we went through this and we talked this through the last time, we did say that this was a good starting point as a template for all the aldermen. We did have a tremendous amount and very lengthy discussion on the ward funds, and during that process, we all agreed that we would, once we passed that we would put together a scholarship template, similar to that of a grant template. Now, I know our grants aren't exactly the same, but they are more or less the same. There's a lot of factions of our grants that are the same, and then each alderman kind of does their own little twist. So I guess I feel like we need to stay true to what we said we were going to do and put together a template. And I think that Alderman Bug has a lot of, he is the one to follow, but I also feel if we're doing a template, we need to have the input of the other aldermen that are also doing scholarships, so perhaps we can add some of their suggestions and ideas into the template. And then we'd have legal look at it, just like they do our scholarships. They review, or excuse me, just like they do our grants. They review each and every one of our grants every year. So it's of my opinion that we hold this until we have the input of some of the other aldermen before moving this forward, because we do have other aldermen that do scholarships and do want input in it. And again, they're not going to be exactly the same, but there are certain things that we should keep the same. The applications, the retractions, some guidelines for committees, how funds are disseminated, and the fact that legal needs to be looking at these scholarships before they go out. So I don't want to vote against this. I vote that we hold this till we get input from other aldermen.
Let me comment there.
Yeah, sure.
No, this is brought forward. This is the Ward 9 Scholarship Program for 2024. And understand we talked about doing a template, and I'm all for that. I'm bringing this forward because I have to move forward. And I did want to move forward 2 weeks ago because I knew the parallel resolution was in committee of the whole. So I'm bringing this forward as a 2024 program. If we set up a template later in the year, I'm all for that. But basically, I'm behind, and like the schools are waiting for me to email them the information. So
I think we can wait 2 more weeks.
So I would, when we did the grant programs, we've referenced the grant programs. I remember when I did mine, it was based on somebody else's. We did my grant program.
Did mine off yours?
Right, but what we didn't do is wait for me and everybody else to get one grant program done. They just said, that's a good grant program, the next one that wants to do it, we'll take care of the alderman's office and we'll come up with a template, but we're not gonna hold people till we get one master template. So I would agree with Alderman Bug. I'm not even going into the urgency of that. I just don't think that holding this up is going to keep us from getting a template. I think Rich would work on that and say, here's the template. What do you want to tweak in there to make it, kind of unique to your ward, which is fine. Gives you general guidelines, but I don't think we have to hold up anybody's. As long as it's legal and good, we'll just go and let them say, okay, this is where we gotta go.
Well, two things. One, when we did that.
Right.
Back when I did my grant program off of your grant program and off of, I think TENS was also in place at the time, we did not just go through several months of creating a ward ordinance.
Right.
And publicly, we stated more than one time that we would be putting together a template for scholarships. So now that we have publicly stated so, I believe we need to stick to what we said. So, and I agree with everything you said,
Right.
except for the fact that that was before we put together this,
Right.
this ordinance and moving forward. So I can't go back on what was stated
I
publicly.
just don't know why we can't do both. I don't know why we can't prove this today, as long as it's legal, and say, and then we're gonna get the thing done, because if he wants to get this done, we're gonna hold it for 2 weeks. If we don't get that template done 2 weeks, it's another 2 weeks after that. So I think they're independent of each other. We could do both simultaneously and get, positive production out of both. So I don't know if I wanna tie that into the big picture. I think we could still get that done, because I agree with you, but I don't know that this has to wait to get that done. That's all I'm
Has
saying.
legal signed off on this?
Legal has signed off on this numerous times. When it was first created under
We have to do it every
our
year.
old chief of staff, and it went through legal, and basically the program is exactly the same.
Well, I'm not,
And-
okay.
Can I chime in, guys?
And this is,
Thank you. If you weren't done.
oh, no, yeah,
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone that I'm still here.
Sorry.
So, however long ago it was a few weeks, a couple months ago, when we were working on our new ordinance for our aldermanic funds, part of that discussion was about how everything up until now had just been done informally. We had these informal office rules, and everyone was kind of more or less doing their own thing, and there wasn't a set format and structure for us. So I think that's what we were trying to create also with the scholarship funds, is to have that template. So moving forward, we all know we're going to base it off of this. If we approve Alderman Buggs now, or like Alderman Franco mentioned, kind of do both at the same time, I feel like we're moving away from that idea, because now if we're just approving this plan as it stands now, I know Alderman Garza does her scholarships, I'm not sure who else. Now, if she comes and she has a totally different program, it kind of contradicts what we were trying to create. So because of the timing, if we were still working on that other ordinance now, I would say there's no harm in approving it now, and then once we redo our ordinance, then we can revisit this. But we've already done all that work, and the point was to kind of start fresh now with a strict set of rules, so we all know moving forward, this is how things need to get done. I think we would be taking a couple steps back if we now said, no, let's just approve this one scholarship plan and then deal with them as they come to us, because that was the old way of doing things, and that's what led to some confusion and to some misunderstandings on how we should be using these funds. So I would prefer that we hold it to get Alderman Garza here and any other alderman, even those that don't have scholarship programs now, and maybe say, if you are interested in doing one, come and give your input on how you would, kind of what your vision is here, and let's put something together. If we're, I don't want to hold anything up with any students, so that would be motivation too, to hurry up and get this done and not drag this out for 3-4 meetings when we can just get it done in one meeting.
Well, if I could, so the template would be done by who? Mr. Jacobs?
I'd say legal.
I'd
I
say
mean,
a
I
combination.
don't know. I mean, I'm just,
no, the legal's not gonna
yeah,
Well, they're going to approve it.
draft it,
Right.
that's right.
Well, the template would be done, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
And again, my 2 cents on this right here, the more I thought about it, was as of right now, like two wards that do programs, as far as I know, just Ward 9 and Ward 2. So if I've heard other people wanting to maybe do this down the road, should we look at having one committee approve the scholarships? Like I had mentioned, maybe have the Aurora Education Commission review the scholarships versus Alderman Bug having his committee, and then Alderman Garza having hers, and anybody else. So there's, potentially 12 different committees that are going to approve these things. Should we consider, in particular, the Aurora Education Commission looking at these? It has everybody who I think should be on there, including Alderman Bug, educators, administrators, everything like that, that would be able to review these and decide whether it's something we should move forward with, so.
Are you suggesting they review the template or the?
They do the voting and stuff like that
Oh,
as well
that.
too, or the approval, whatever you
application.
want to call it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the application, I think, is something that, I don't think Ed's, or Alderman Buck, I'm sorry, is far off or something like that, but I just think that other people should have the opportunity to provide input on it. I don't want to slow down Alderman Buck's scholarship, so I don't know what the drop dead as far as getting everything done, and if that means that we gotta fast track this somehow or something, because the last thing I want to do is hold up scholarships for anybody, that's for sure.
I have,
Let me reply to that. So this information goes to the schools by 6 days ago. Thus, the reason I brought this 2 weeks ago, so everyone can review it, see it. This is not the template. This is the Ward 9 2024 program.
Yeah.
I mean, putting together a template's gonna take weeks, with a lot of different input. And that's why I am moving this, so I can, I told my career centers they would have the information at the latest February 15th. But normally they would have it January 31st. So the career counselors, to get the kids the applications, they're waiting. And like I said, that's the reason I moved this forward 2 weeks ago with all the information. If you want to use this as a template later, I'm fine with that. If you want to tweak it, totally fine with that. Whatever. There's no problems with legal, and there's never been any problems with legal from 7 years ago when we first started to right now, this exact program. So, your question, are we,
Under the gun, yeah,
my
no, that
date
makes
was
sense.
January 31st is the
Yeah.
day it basically goes to high schools.
I've just got one more input and
past.
I'll,
Yeah, sure.
then
Alderwoman
I'll,
Smith.
then I'll drop out. I add everything back that I've said and everything that Alderman Yamas said. And also, we did go through your scholarship the last time that we were together, but never at any time and point did we go through it with the thought that this was going to be what was going to be moved forward, because again, we said publicly to the public that we were going to put together a scholarship template. And it is just the first week of February, and I do understand there are deadlines, but I believe that if we got all the input from any of the aldermen who do scholarships in this week, and we have until the next RAP committee to come forward with something that would include everybody, so that we can, and the templates, even with the template, your scholarship's gonna look a little bit different than say Alderman Garza's, because you're in different wards. But we need a structure for this, and we went through a lot of work to put this structure together, and I feel like we're blowing it up right here. And I don't mean any disrespect by it, but I just feel like I need to stick to the words that I said in council. So, but that's all I'm going to say.
Alderman Franco?
So I didn't make any promises to anybody, and I would never made a promise to anybody that we're going to do a template if it negatively affected somebody that's been doing a program legally for 7 years prior. That'd be like somebody saying, your grant program, we're going to wait on that this year, even though you've been doing it well for a while, because we made a promise. Even though we can do both, we can keep that promise, and we can still satisfy this particular situation. So I don't know why, we can get done what we promised and not have a negative effect on somebody that's been doing stuff for 7 years. I just don't think that was what intentions were, to pause this and make something harder, more difficult in this small period of time. I just want to make sure that we continue to do what's best for everybody. I think we can probably do that here. We can still do the template and do this and not affect Alderman Buck's program, which apparently has been working out very well. So that's my input. That's all.
Any other questions, comments?
Is anyone going to make a motion then to hold it, or are we just then
I
voting on
I
it?
motion to hold it till
So I-
to the next meeting.
So motion to hold by Alderman Smith,
I'll second that.
second by Alderman Yamas.
Sounds like we'll need a roll call.
Yeah, roll call for this.
Who was the first motion?
Alderwoman Smith. Second, was Alderman Yamas.
Chairperson Ron Mormon,
And so if we vote yes, that means we're voting the hold, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Vice Chair Emmanuel Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Edward Bug,
No.
Alderman Carl Franco,
No.
Alderwoman Patty Smith,
Yes.
3 hold, or 3 yes, 2 no.
So with that being said, then it's held till next RAP committee, correct?
Correct.
And then we can talk afterwards about how we can move this along, but, so I'll continue with the agenda here, so.
Well, I'll say something for the record.
Sure.
I was being a upstanding council member because I could have pushed this to 2 weeks ago as information only and just moved it before the thing got passed, the resolution. But I was trying to be upstanding and saying because we are looking at that in correlation, same time frame, I'm going to put that in front of this committee to review. Everyone could have clear eyes on it, have full notice of everything that was happening. And then when the matter passed last Tuesday, we would move the actual Ward 9 process forward. So, yeah, I could have moved it forward without consent of this body as information only because there was no resolution in place.
Thank you. Any other comments? Next item on the agenda, 24-0066, a resolution approving the appointment of Amina Hart, Tanya Majerski, Charmaine Peterson, and Alonzo Beckford to the African American Heritage Advisory Board.
Second.
Feel free to,
Can I, okay. These are all new appointments, so it's going to be their first term. They are from all 4 of them are from different wards. So we have Amina from Ward 2, Tanya from Ward 5, Charmaine from Ward 9, and Alonso from Ward 10. After these appointments, there are no vacancies on AHAB.
any questions, comments from the committee? Had a motion by Alderman Franco, a second by Alderwoman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda, 24-0069, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Linda Cole, Warren Barton, Ken Gall, Dan Hoffman, Jarrell Lubshina, Judy Durham, and Eric Rodriguez, and the appointment of Luma Webster and Karen Christensen to the to the Block Grant Working Committee.
A few of these are reappointments. We do have a new at-large Luma Webster, and then the mayor is he has been on the board before, but he is reappointing Dan Hoffman under the mayor. Everybody else, I believe, is a reappointment. Oh,
Karen
Karen,
Christensen
sorry,
is new.
Karen Christensen is formerly, she's been on other boards, but this is her first term on the Black Grant under Ward 5.
Any questions, comments from the committee? Do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda, I'm going to turn over to Vice Chairman Yamas. So, and I'm going to step out of the room too with the advice of council. So,
Thank you, Alderman Warren. We'll wait for you to exit before we resume. Be sure to shut the door, please. Are we okay with the back door being open?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So, let's see, this is agenda item 24-0079, a resolution appointing Alderman Ron Warman and Alderman Brandon Tolliver to the Aquatics Administrative Board.
So moved.
Did you get their resumes?
We did not.
Alex Voigt with the Mayor's Office. We are putting forth Alderman Warman and Alderman Tolliver to the Aquatics Administrative Board. The last time we appointed individuals to this board would have been, I believe, in 2019. And the longstanding member was Alderman Bob O'Connor. And then Alderwoman Shakita Hart-Burns also served for several years. So keeping in that tradition, we asked the 7th Ward Alderman as well as an Alderman at large to serve, and they are both on the Finance Committee as well. So we feel this would be a good fit in terms of managing the aquatics agreement going forward.
I just have one question. The Aquatic Center on the east side, is that Ward 3 or 7 there?
Phillips Park, right?
I
That's
believe
Phillips
that's
Park?
Ward
Three, Ward three.
3.
Three.
Yes.
Three.
Do we know why we had Alderwoman Hart-Burns on here as the 7th? I'm just wondering why it's 7th Ward.
It might have been her ward at one time.
Yeah, I can't speak to the
That could've
specifics
been.
of why she was selected, but she was a great representative, and the mayor felt it would be important to keep that going forward.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was history behind that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have to know how to swim to be on the aquatics board?
There is no test.
Are you going to take this swimming test?
But Alderman Bug.
Going back, and to address Alderman Yamas a little bit, I mean, Phillips Park has been Ward 3 for, it was under, Ward 3 under Representative Kifowit. So Phillips Park has been Ward 3 for a long time. We have talked in the past, and refresh me, because I believe Sherman was appointed to this.
He was. So
Yeah.
this board is and not to interrupt, but it is a 5-member board, and every other year, the city has majority one year, and then the park district will have majority another year. So Alderman O'Connor, after he retired, moved to the rotating at-large position, and then Alderman Jenkins stepped in his stead as an alderman at large. So this year, an even year, we have the minority of the board, which is why we're bringing forward 2 people.
Okay. So we had talked years ago a little bit about this board, and we would get comments from our residents, and I asked the question, why didn't we appoint someone with kids? There were only a couple people on the council with kids. And secondly, not only having kids, that they actually have a membership to the pools. And I talked to the members on the board about that at that time. They'd had a membership to the pool about 20 years ago, but not in the last 20 years. And thus, a lot of the things that the residents would bring forward, they didn't have firsthand knowledge of. And I would discuss those things with them, because I had a pool membership for 14 years. Don't have it anymore, but that was the case. So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One for the gentleman in the hallway. If he plans, he has kids, but does he plan on getting a membership to the pool, so he can actually see day to day, or not, when he goes, what's going on at the pools? That was a big contention, and we would bring information from the people actually at the pool to the aquatics board, or to our rep, because they never went to the pools and didn't see things that were happening. So if we have the opportunity to have someone on this board who actually goes to the pools, of course, it's a great benefit.
I think if you go around the table, there's none.
There's not going to be very many aldermen with, you mean younger kids?
Any kids,
or adult children, or are
you
we
can have
talking-
you can have a membership as an adult. But I mean, usually, it's people with kids who go to the pool. Usually,
I
but
think
you don't have
options
to.
are going to be limited there. It might be the 2 of us.
So if I can chime in for a second. it's probably a good idea, but I'm looking at what they go through, the different things that they talk about. I don't see a whole lot in there that if I were to go to the pool every day, I need to do that based on what they're telling me I need to do here. A lot of it is security and costs and stuff like that. There's a couple things that maybe hiring a guy, that might oversee. But it seems like most of the things on here would be pretty much, kind of general, and it's just like cost and management as opposed to day in, day in activity. So yes, that would be better. I don't see the necessity, I guess.
That's an
in that.
aspect of it,
Right,
but,
sure.
but certainly there are, as far as like maintenance things and, you're doing one thing with the lifeguards, but in effect, is it actually working?
Right.
So, to kind of sit in the room and discuss it in theory, and then you go to and listen to the people actually at the pool on a regular basis, and you have two different stories,
Right.
is what I would get. So, I mean, it's just a question if, like I said, adults can have memberships without having kids. I had my membership when I had kids, but, and I don't plan on getting another one. But it's just a question. If none of the 12 of us plan on getting a pass or whatever, then, you move forward. But if we do have someone who plans to get a pass I think that would be a great benefit to have them on the actual board.
All right, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against?
Nay.
All right, motion passes 3-1. I think we can call in Alderman Warman now.
Yes.
Get out your Speedo, man, you're going to the pool.
Nice. I have it on now. Okay, that's the last item on the agenda, so no need for a closed session.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, everyone.